This presentation is called Work of Air, the Winds Work Chart. You will have a whole bunch of arrows in a box, and I'm going to take them out right now and get ready. And you will also have a sun, okay? And you'll have red and blue arrows you'll be working with today. All right, let's begin. So let's see if we can remember the general picture of how the winds blow on Earth. So let's start with steady winds. So what do you remember about those steady winds? In the northern hemisphere, that is. What do you remember about them? Yeah, they come out of the northeast and they blow towards the equator. So would you like to place the arrows for the steady winds? Okay, let's do that. So most of these winds blow towards the equator. All right, so, and in the southern hemisphere, I just went ahead and did it. Which direction do they come from? Yeah, they come from the southeast. That's the way the winds come from, and they blow towards the equator. So that's what you see here, right below the equator. And in the north, they come from the northeast. So what about, and in the south, these winds are called the southeasterlies, okay? All right, well, what about the variable winds, those blue ones? They blow more or less out of the southwest in the northern hemisphere, like we see here. So I'm just trying my best to remember from last time which way these winds blow. Okay, like that. And in the southern hemisphere, do you remember how they were in the southern hemisphere? Yep, they kind of blew all straight across because remember there wasn't much land to really stop them. Nobody's putting up a stop sign down there. So I'm gonna put my blue arrows all the way across, just like this. Okay. Now, we haven't put the sun out yet, okay? Because we just kind of are building a general picture. So in general, most of the steady winds blow towards the equator, like we see here, and most of the variable winds blow this way, okay? Well, now let's add the sun, okay? Remember I said there was going to be a sun in this? Oops, sorry, I bumped the table. So let's add the sun, and let's put the sun at the Tropic of Cancer. So that's right here. So we're going to put the sun there. And what happens, and let's look, what happens, do you remember what happens to the perpendicular rays of the sun when they're falling at the Tropic of Cancer? Does anything change in the Pacific with the steady winds? not really, not much changes. Well, let's look around here where there's lots of land and water. Remember this area where there's lots of land and water? Do you remember what happens here? The land is hotter and the hot air rises above it, and it pulls those winds over here. It kind of churns these winds, churns these winds to go that way. Okay, because there's so much land here that it causes the wind to churn its direction during that time of year. Same with over here. And yep, okay. So that is during the month of July. The land is hotter, and as the hot air rises above it, it pulls the wind towards the land. And if you don't remember, you can always check with the chart from the last lesson, this chart. Okay? All right. I should also say, like, some of the hot air gets pulled up there, but all right. Now, let's move our sun down to the Tropic of Capricorn. And do we need to make changes now? Definitely. Especially here, right? Especially here. Once again, we know that the land is hotter in this part of the world now. So the air above the land gets warm and hot air rises. Thus, the winds are pulled in to fill that empty space that it causes. So now we have the arrows, or the wind, changing direction, going back this way. And really we have like the arrows going really intensely towards the hotter parts of the land. Okay? All right. So that is our presentation for today. If you'd like, you can do this on your own and maybe look at different times of year. So maybe what would it look like during this part of the year when the sun is right here? What do you think would happen? All right. Have fun.